I do.
Maybe it's the lights.
I think it's the lights. Or my gray hair maybe is making my complexion look a little darker. Hasn't helped yours, by the way.
It is gray when I grow it out, but there's not much there to go. Questions? I'll start one. You've been pretty busy in the off-season. Are you happy with how you've been able to put your team together and your roster with what you got?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to tell right now. Playing against each other, I think every day is hard, and and everybody knows what everybody else is going to do. I think we've made some strides particularly with the new guys, in terms of them understanding what we want done. But until you play some outside competition, that doesn't know everything that you're going to do. It's kind of difficult to tell.
So with that said, how much did the Spanish tour help to be able to give you a little jump start on outside competition?
Honestly, competition wasn't very good. I mean, we could have scored anytime we wanted to, throwing it inside to Derek or Logan. It helps. I mean, it helped our conditioning. It's good that we got to play together. It's good that we got our bigs got to guard some little guys running around out on the perimeter, and our little guys, we were switching things on purpose just so they'd have to learn how to do some things in the post and all. I think we didn't shoot it particularly well, but that was probably. I mean, the ball was slick. It was so hot. I mean, it was just. I mean, I'm sitting there on a chair, and I'm soaking wet, and I wasn't until the last game. I didn't even bitch at the officials, believe it or not.
Starting your full practices now, how much goes to more teamwork versus how much you're still doing the individual skill development things from over the summer?
It's still whole part whole. I mean, that's what we always do. You try to show them. If you try to do the part, they kind of they get bored with it, and then you try to put the whole in using the parts, and they have no idea why or how or anything. So we try to show them what we're going to try to do, and then we try to break it down so that they understand their part of it, and then try to put it back together again. That's hard to do, whenever this is good. It got them together, and we got a lot of individual work done, but we didn't do a whole lot of team stuff.
You guys start today? Or?
We start officially Friday. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I just looked at my calendar. It was on there. You're fine.
Sorry. What did you see from Osaboyan that made you bring him in, and how has he kind of acclimated to the group so far?
Well, he plays really, really hard. That's the thing that, looking at him on film, he plays really hard. He's a big who can bounce it, which is, I think that's a great weapon to have. He's a guy who can catch it and drive it and I think draw fouls. He's strong. He's aggressive. I think he's, for an extended period of time, he could guard on the perimeter better than any big we have. Derek can do it. He just doesn't do it very long, or as long as what sometimes we need him to. But and playing 2 years, he's got 2 years of SEC experience and playing in big games, so that gives him an advantage, I think, over the freshmen.
Was the idea there to get another wing to go with Matthews, because if you didn't have him, you wouldn't have had it back?
I don't think he's a wing, John. No, I think he's a four. I think he's a four-man who can bounce it. I think he's a four-man who passes it pretty well. He rebounds it, plays really hard. I think if we can get the other guys to figure out how to play pressure, I think we could go back to, I don't know that we can do what we did before, but we can, I think, still at times pressure people because he's a big who can really, he can stay in front of people.
Who would that second wing be right now?
Emmett can't get tired.
Can't get tired.
Well, we can play, I think, a lot of people there. Jermaine could play there. In fact, Jermaine could probably, that may be Jermaine's best position. But, you know, we could play Sean there. We could probably play Taz there. We can play 3 guards. With those 2 bigs inside, I think we can play 3 guards and be fine.
Along those lines, how is the perimeter defense? That was with Dax and JC a couple years ago. That was kind of your calling card. You didn't have that last year. What do you do this year?
It's kind of like it was when those 2 were freshmen. It's non-existent. We don't guard anybody, but we will. We're athletic enough, and I think they're basketball savvy enough. We'll be able to guard people.
Bob, with regard to Gabe, is he definitely redshirting? Is he TBD?
TBD. I don't know.
I think that's all you can say, right?
Yeah, I mean,
What do you see now to Jalen Bridges in the short period that he's been here?
well, you got to like his length and ability, and his at 6'7" and long, his ability to play on the perimeter. You know, he gets better and better every day, I think, as he gets more and more comfortable. You know, I mean, he's walking in after those other guys have, you know, went through the whole summer. And really, probably 2/3 of them went through their freshman season a year ago. So I think he's going to be a really good player.
Do you have a specific plan for him? Do you want him to redshirt this year or play him?
He wanted a red shirt. That was the plan that they had mapped out, and I was fine with it. I think that's a great idea for him.
Coach, in a very general sense with the waiver process, I'm sure the NCAA gets hit with thousands of requests per year. Do coaches know, or schools know in general, if a kid is going to be granted a waiver? I mean, some kids get it, some kids don't. Is it a frustrating process? Should it be more clear in a general sense?
Well, honestly, Justin, I think if you have any reason whatsoever, seemingly you get a waiver.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot. I mean, there's such an emphasis on individual rights that I don't think they want that challenged anymore. And so, you know, unless there's, you know, there's strong opposition to it from some faction, I think generally I think we're at a time where they want to be known as helping people achieve their goals, not holding them back from achieving their goals, which they were accused of, I think, before. And it really, honestly, is a new time. I mean, it's, you know, you could play a game on Saturday and, you know, your leading scorer could be enrolled in someplace else on Monday.
Right.
Along those lines, I don't know if you saw that Seth Greenberg tweet. I guess there's 150 kids in the transfer portal that don't have a place to go now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, and I've said this to you guys repeatedly, but I think what we're missing the whole deal is we're so concerned about individual rights we forget about everybody else. You know, it's like the draft. I'm totally 100% against what we're doing with the draft and letting them stay in the draft that long. because you can't replace them. And what happens to the rest of your team? Doesn't it matter what happens to them? Doesn't it matter that they've lost maybe their best player and they can't replace them? So all their goals and everything that they've kind of dreamed about, going to school and playing on a great team and winning in the NCAA tournament and going to the Final Four and all those things, you know, you lose a guy or two unexpectedly. You know, like there's guys going to draft. You say, well, he's not going. You don't know whether he's going to get drafted or not get drafted. Did any of us know whether Sags would get drafted? No. It's kind of a. I mean, you take our guys, the majority of our guys that left. I mean, we didn't have any idea, and I talked to everybody. You know, we had no idea whether they're getting drafted or whether they could come back or couldn't come back. I mean, starting with KJ. I mean, how does KJ not get drafted? But he didn't, and we were, you know, we saved a scholarship for him. But it gets. You know, let's say, for instance, this year we lose two of our bigs, underclassmen bigs. We've got a senior big. And we're left with one big. So now do we wait and see what happens? Do we fill that spot? Is that fair to those other guys? I don't think it is.
Well, it's a domino because look at all the kids in the limbo that don't have a place to go now, that are just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? That only affects them. They chose that. I can live with that more than I can destroying a team. I can live with that. You know? And they're always going to have a place to go. I mean, they're going to be Division II people looking, and they're picking them up. They'll go somewhere.
Keep that in mind when you're recruiting players now. Do you talk to them about that as part of the recruiting process? Try to sound them out what they feel like their ideas or plans are?
They all think they're going to play in the NBA. I don't have to ask them. I know what they're thinking. They're all NBA players, every single one of them. All those guys, you know, those guys that are playing in Europe now, still they think they're NBA players. Most of them, not all of them. Most of them do.
Now that the NCAA has been brought up, you got any thoughts, feelings about the Kansas situation that you want to say?
I don't really know enough about it to say anything that's intelligent, so I really pride myself on sounding intelligent, as you know. So, Bob, I don't know enough about it. I really don't. You kind of look at the headlines, and you know, you read a headline about this team and that team, and you know, I don't know. It would appear, you know, if you don't, and you really don't. This is the first thing that's ever really come out from the NCAA, I believe. I think all the rest of it has kind of been secondhand, you know. So, and I honestly didn't read it. I mean, I saw the headlines, but I didn't read it.
Well, we discussed a couple of newcomers. What about the others? McNeil, Taz, Oscar. What are you seeing out of them?
Well, Sean got really sick in Spain, and then he had his brother got married a couple times, I think, because he was gone a couple weekends. I thought it was maybe
First one didn't take?
yeah. They just wanted to make sure that they had it right the first time, I think. But now he's just been he lost a bunch of weight and all that stuff. So he's kind of been. It's hard to get a good look at him, I guess. Taz is getting better and better, and getting stronger and stronger. I think he's, what is he? He's 185 pounds. I think he came in at 170. So he's getting stronger and understanding. Miles is playing great. I mean, Deuce is playing. I mean, if we were going to play today, Deuce would see a lot of playing time. He's gotten stronger. He's making shots. He defends. Who else did you want to know about? Oscar. Oscar's kind of a little bit like Sean, although Oscar's brother, I think, is too young to get married. He's just 15, so maybe they do that. But he hadn't been around much. I mean, really, you know, with us going to he practiced with us before we went to Spain, and then we went to Spain. We took a little time off when we got back, and he hasn't. We haven't really done a whole lot, so it's hard to. He's talented. I mean, you just watch him run up and down and watch him rebound the ball. He's shooting it pretty good. It's just, you know, it's hard when you don't know what you're doing, and there's so many things going through your head. And am I supposed to screen? Am I supposed to cut? Am I supposed to, you know, flash the high post, catch the ball? I don't, you know. And then they just kind of freeze. And he's a little bit like that. He doesn't freeze when it gets on the rim, though. That's a good thing.
Thoughts on your schedule? You've got some games packed up in the end. What's your initial thoughts when you saw them out last night?
I hope I didn't overschedule. Yeah, I mean, the games I think that even some people think are going to be easy aren't going to be as easy as people think they are. And we open with Akron, and I think Akron's got a good team. You know, this is the year that they've been looking forward to. You know, and then we're going to go play Youngstown. You know, Jared's got everybody back there. And so I Ohio State in Cleveland, I mean, hopefully, you know, our people got on the ticket thing early, but I think what happened was the Cavs season ticket holders had the first dibs on the tickets, and so that'll be interesting to see what that crowd's like. You know, I just hope it's not a home game for them.
Have you gotten any word on Oscar's visa being cleared yet for Cancun?
No, not really. I mean, I got a lot of words, but it's none that would do you any good. Hasn't done me any good.
I think you can speak intelligently on this.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you saying that.
That's my question. The ESPN Plus thing, does
Mhm.
that bug you at all as a coach who likes to have exposure in as many national stages as you can? Are you concerned about visibility with recruits or anything like that, or are you still trying to feel your way through it?
I think we're going to have to. I think everybody involved really needs to just see what happens. I tried to watch the football game, and I think, you know, it's like anything else. I mean, it's going to take them some time to figure out, you know, what the best way to do things, just like it takes us, you know, some time to figure things out. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if they say it's the wave of the future. I'm not. I mean, I'm not involved in it, so I don't know. I know that the people in the league, I think, are excited and very much behind it, and obviously they've studied it, and they're very intelligent people, so I'm sure they're guiding us in the right direction.